the largest favorite on the UFC Vegas 94 fight card is only a -223. And what that tells you is that this is a razor thin card. There's not a ton of huge favorites, but there are a ton of live underdogs. My name is Angelo. This is We Want Picks, and I'm going to walk you through my bets for UFC Vegas 94. Before we talk about my bets, let me talk about the latest tool we have for premium membership. If you go to WeWantPicks.com and you click Become a Member, it's $10. You instantly unlock tools, bets, picks, all sorts of stuff that you need for an entire month. So you're going to get UFC Vegas 94, UFC 304 next weekend, and then the next two events after that. We have a teach a man the fish type of model. Of course, there are bets up there, pre-established bets that you can just look at and run with. But we also have tools that you can use to find your own bets and find your own spots. One of those tools is the Prop Hunter. It's a fancy name for curated data and insight. This curated data is specifically designed to find prop bets. You're going to get significant strike lines. You're going to get the difference between an average fight for that fighter and a decision fight for that fighter. You're going to get the same information for grappling, striking, and fight minutes. All of this data is fully interactive, fully sortable, and it is there to help you find the best prop bets on the planet. That's not the only other tool. You're also going to get things like the line movement tracker, the opening odds, the current odds, the win probability, and the line movement for every fighter on every card. So after you create your premium membership and after you log in, you have full access to all of our bets, all of our picks, our round line leans, and a bunch of tools that will help you find other bets, find other picks, and in some cases, help you avoid the landmines. Go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member. It's only $10, and it's for an entire month. We're talking $2.50 freaking cents an event. WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member. The pitch is over. Let's talk about this card. You notice the most confident favorites, only three. There's only three there. It's a tricky, tricky card. I have a bunch of bets, and a lot of them are on underdogs, which is not typically my style. I'm usually a conservative guy. So finding underdogs that I like early was a bit surprising even to me when I ran down that list. But if we're looking at favorites, Jacob and I couldn't be more split on this. I think Miranda Maverick wins this fight. Jacob has picked the other side. He has made Deonna Barboza his underdog lock of the week. But I think Miranda Maverick wins. I think she moves forward. I think she's all in on the wrestling. I think she avoids a clinch because a clinch would be a problem for her in this fight. And I think she wins this fight. We know she's durable. We know she has a ton of cardio. We know she can push forward with pressure and pace. Is she as good as some people think? No. I think Miranda Maverick is a little bit overrated. But I do think she can get the takedowns and she can win this fight, certainly by decision. She's -227. She's the biggest favorite on this card. You can get better odds if you head over to BetOpenly. Then Cody Gibson. Cody Gibson's a weird, confident favorite here. On one hand, he's not great either. He's 36 years old. He only has one win in the UFC, so he hasn't had this prolific UFC career. Had some success in The Ultimate Fighter. Now he's at his second crack, his second opportunity here in the UFC. He's coming off a loss to Miles John. He's not great. He's not great. He's the second biggest favorite on this card. He's not great. But what he is, though, is durable. He's tough. He's taking his career seriously. Yes, he's 36 years old. But out of him and his opponent, Brian Kelleher, I feel like Cody Gibson's the guy who's taking his career seriously. Brian Kelleher is there to have a good time. He takes a shot. He gives a shot. He smiles. He has some fun. He does mix it up. He has lost to the better people in the division. Cody would literally be the worst person that Brian Kelleher has lost to. But I think Cody gets it done. He's tremendous. He is durable. And I think he's going to go out there, put it on, and ultimately win that fight. And then Steve Garcia. Steve Garcia is sneaky good. He's winning fights quietly. He's got 5 wins in the UFC with 5 knockouts, or a TKO in the case of his last fight. He's just sneakily moving forward, taking people down, beating them up, moving forward, knocking people out. He's not getting the credit he deserves, and that's totally fine with me because then we're going to get him at odds like -149. I do think Steve Garcia wins. If we look at underdogs, you can basically say this entire card. Every underdog on this card is live, including Brian Kelleher and Deonna Barboza. If we're a little more specific, I like Trey Ogden here. I think that's a wrestler versus wrestler matchup. And while Loik Radzhabov might be the better actual wrestler, Trey Ogden will stick to it. He will move forward, shoot a takedown. He will not quit. He will not stop. He'll just continue to shoot takedowns and continue to hold you down. Getting out from underneath Trey Ogden is not an easy thing to do. He has fantastic control. He is minus money, but he is the underdog at -106. Doo Ho Choi, +145. The reason he's an underdog here is because of the inactivity. He hasn't won a fight in the UFC in 8 years. 8 years he hasn't won a fight in the UFC. Certainly his last fight was as close as it gets. He was beating his opponent. He was beating the crap out of him. Landed a headbutt in the third, deemed illegal. They took a point away, which forced the draw. And that was against Kyle Nelson. And Kyle Nelson has come forward and won a few fights since then. So that age is better and better. He did beat Kyle Nelson. The point made it a draw. But effectively, he hasn't won a fight in 8 years, and I think people see that. He fights very sporadically. There's giant gaps and layoffs in his career. He's coming off a long layoff now, and it's a draw. He is plus 145, but he is the better fighter in that matchup. Brad Tavares, he's aging. He's slowing down. His chin is certainly not what it used to be. He's been knocked unconscious in 2 of his last 3 fights, I believe. But Brad Tavares is fairly durable, even with a fading chin. He's got great takedown defense, and he has fought some of the best fighters on planet Earth at his weight class. His opponent is beating guys who are mostly no longer in the UFC. No longer in the UFC. If you look through Park's wins, most of those fighters are no longer in the UFC. And he's going to come forward. He'll look to get the takedown. He'll work from there. He does not have big one-punch knockout power. He does have some grinding forward pressure. I think Brad Tavares defends the takedowns. He's got great takedown defense. I think Brad Tavares' chin will be fine because he's not fighting somebody with a ton of power, and I think he can get it done. And then Amanda Lemos in the main event. You know, there's 2 schools of thought here. Either Amanda is going to defend these takedowns and beat the absolute piss out of Virna Jandiroba, who can't really strike, or Virna is going to Nurmagomedov her way to a win. I think Virna's going to win. With that being said, Amanda Lemos is good. She can defend the takedowns. She can embarrass Virna. Virna's going to slow down after a couple of rounds, and Amanda can really run away with this. So I think Amanda is a phenomenal underdog. This is not her first 5-round fight. It's not her first main event. I think Amanda Lemos can win this fight. I have picked the other side, but only because I think the wrestling pressure will matter, but I don't have a bet on that money line. If we look at my actual bets, you can see I got some more plus money here than you're normally going to get from me. I got Luana Carolina at plus 102. I think she's the better fighter in this matchup. She opened at a massive favorite. That line absolutely bottomed out at plus money. I jumped on it, and now she's creeped her way back up. She is a favorite, but it's like minus 115. It's nothing dramatic. I think Luana Carolina has established herself as one of the more well-rounded fighters in this division. She's got good offensive striking. She's got decent takedown defense. She's pretty durable. She's got her own offensive takedowns. Like, Luana Carolina's a decent fighter. She's certainly the better fighter in this matchup, at least in my opinion. I think she wins, and I'll take her at plus money. Steve Garcia, for all the reasons I mentioned. I got him at minus 140. Straight money line. I think he's the better fighter here. I think he's the better fighter. I think he hits harder. I think he can wrestle. So I think he wins this fight. It's just that simple. Brad Tavares plus 158 for all the reasons I just mentioned. I think he'll be able to defend the takedowns. I think he's going to be fine in the striking department. He's the better striker of the 2. So now it's just, how bad is his chin? I don't think it's that bad. And then it's going to be, well, how good is his opponent's wrestling? And I don't think it's good enough to take down Brad Tavares. Run through his history. He has fought everybody. And he's defended a whole bunch of takedowns along the way. I do have the main event over 2.5. Amanda Lemos, Virna Jandiroba. Virna Jandiroba is tough. She will take her beating. Amanda Lemos is tough. She will take her beating. So I think we're going to get a fight that is most likely a decision. If there's a finish, I think it's late. If there's a finish, I think it's Virna Jandiroba getting finished late. I think Virna wins a decision or gasses, and come 3rd round, 4th round, she's got nothing left, and Amanda puts her away. But I think this is a decision fight, so the fact that it's a 2.5 round line and not a 3.5 or a 4.5 is spectacular. Minus 155, I jumped on that. And then we got Mohammed Usman, Cody Gibson. I basically parlayed 2 guys that I think win, but I'm not wildly confident in. I think Mohammed Usman wins this fight. He's the bigger, more physical of the 2, and these are heavyweights. When all else is equal, the bigger, more physical guy is the one who's going to take it away. I think Mohammed Usman hits harder. I think his cardio is totally fine. I think he's the one who is more likely to get an offensive takedown. Certainly if he gets taken down, he's going to be a fish out of water, clueless, and he's going to get smoked. And that is possible, but I don't think that happens. Cody Gibson, all the reasons I mentioned earlier. He is fighting Brian Kelleher, who is on a 3-fight losing streak, 3 very good losses, so don't just make assumptions there. But Brian Kelleher's at a point in his career where he's having fun. He's smiling, he's throwing stuff. You're going to hit me, I'm going to hit you. He's looking to entertain, he's looking to be fun. Where I think Cody Gibson will do whatever he needs to do to win this fight. Be as boring as he needs to be. Come forward, grind, do all the things. So I took the 2 guys that I think are a bit sketchy, slapped them together, and we got this at plus 173. And then, of course, the safety parlay. Safety parlay continues to be incredibly stable. It's a single parlay I put together for every single event. It hits at a 70% win rate. It did lose last week. We were on a 5-fight win streak, and then it broke last week. It lost by 1 minute. I had the over 2.5 on the Johnson-Van fight, and then it lost by 1 minute with the Charles Johnson knockout. The fact that he won by finish is astonishing. I had him winning. I had a bet. You watched it in this video, but I didn't think he was going to win by finish, let alone in the 3rd round. So that did miss, but the reality is the safety parlay continues to be the beacon of stability. WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member. It's freaking $10 a month. You're going to unlock everything, including Jacob's bets. This is just a teaser. Jacob's got a bunch of bets on the board with a lot more to come. He's waiting for the weigh-ins to shore up a couple of others. The bet I'll give you, the free bet. The rest are behind the paywall. The free bet I will give you is Deone Barboza plus 170. Listen, I disagree with this pick, but this is not the first pick of his that I would be disagreeing with. He is on quite the streak for his underdog lock of the week, and it takes some balls to pick and then bet on the biggest underdog on the entire card. So if you're in Team Jacob and you believe in his ability to pick underdogs, this might be, it's not the biggest underdog he's ever done as far as the odds are concerned, but it is certainly one that nobody agrees with him on. Nobody. I'm not seeing a lot of love for this underdog lock of the week, but he has a whole bunch of other bets on the board as well, and you can unlock all of them right now. WeWantPicks.com. Click become a member. I opened this video mentioning some of my most confident favorites, most confident underdogs. You saw 2 different columns of odds. The first column is Bet Online. That's typically what we use as far as a sports book is concerned. The second column was BetOpenly. BetOpenly is not a sports book. It is peer-to-peer betting, human-to-human betting. And because they're not a sports book, they don't care who wins. They just facilitate bets between different people. And so you're going to get better odds every single time. Sports books need to factor in margin. An even money fight in a sports book is minus 110, minus 110. An even money fight on BetOpenly is plus 100, plus 100. It is truly even money. They take a 1% fee on the winnings, 1%, and that's how they make their money. You can check them out at wewantpicks.com/betopenly or just go to betopenly.com, and you can try to take my money from me by betting against the safety parlay, or try to take Jacob's money by betting on Miranda Maverick, literally his money from his pocket. And finally, if you want $50, we'll send you $50. wewantpicks.com/bets. It's affiliate marketing. We have links to the different sports books. Use the link, make an account, make a deposit, and then we send you $50 as a thank you. They're going to pay us. We're going to slice off some of that money and give it right back to you. WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up, make a deposit. We'll send you that $50. Good luck this weekend, guys. Sketchy card. We've been wildly successful these past couple of months, but this card definitely scares the shit out of me.